Welcome to battle number 1 of week 3 of the FNF Seafoam Miles Draft League. I'm your host Lionhunt, and I'll be commentating this match between King of the Sacramento Samurotts and Ari of the second Swablus. This is a replay commentary as the battle has already occurred, with the replay link down in the description below. Before we get started, let's review our Megas and Z Pokemon. On King Fuse's team, we do have an appearance by Mega Steelix, and looks like King has foregoed the use of any Z Pokemon. Ari, however, has brought both Mega Mawile, Heatran with Z and E privilege, and Dragonite with Z attack privilege. Before we get started, let's go over some brief initial thoughts. So looking at Ari's side, we definitely see quite a lot of tanky Pokemon between Slowbro, probably having Regenerator, Dragonite, and Snorlax. All of them having some pretty decent bulk, and most of them can hit pretty hard. We might also see some Stealth Rock setting potentially from Heatran that could really threaten Avalugg and Honchkrow. And going off of the Stealth Rock analysis, we also have Mega Steelix, who's quite capable of going in and doing that, which can really put a hamper in Dragonite, which may or may not be the Dragon Dance variant. So if Stealth Rock gets out early, it can prevent Dragonite from being particularly effective. Additionally, Buzzwole on King's side can also just function as a very decent wall breaker with that sheer attack strength, though Mega Mawile and Heatran are sort of counters to it. I mean, all these Pokemon seem to have like dual typings that the other can't exploit, so that could lead to some really interesting standoffs later on in the battle. And I think just looking at these teams, like probably the most likely leads we have would probably be Mega Steelix to get that Mega Evolution off early and possibly Stealth Rock as soon as possible. Likewise with Ari and maybe Heatran or maybe Slowbro even, given that Regenerator allowing it to potentially scout out a move and take that hit early on, recover and come back later when it's more advantageous to do so. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and begin. And out comes Python, the Mega Steelix, and there it has go-aheads and evolves and uses, her first love, the Dragonite. We already see a trade-off between Earthquake and Ice Fang. Ice Fang doing a decent amount of damage to Dragonite before both sides switch out to, we have Glacier, the Avalugg, and her ex, the Heatran, who goes down to 1 Earthquake. Out comes her father, the Nidoking, versus Darrell D's the Indeedee. Sludge Wave only does about 31% damage, while Psychic Terrain goes ahead and sets up. Her brother comes out, Slowbro, taking that Expanding Force, which isn't really that effective. And it looks like this Slowbro has leftovers. Oh, uses Teleport. Sends her first love, Dragonite, back out to fight Anastasia the Roserade, who just switches out back to Avalugg, the Glacier. And out comes the first Z move of the attack, Z move of the battle, Supersonic Sky Strike, does about 51% damage to Glacier. Glacier, however, does have leftovers, and it'll be fine. Your Crush, the Mawile, comes out, intimidates Glacier. Crunch not really doing much damage to your Crush. We're probably going to see a Mega Evolution really soon. Psychic Terrain and Tailwind have already been expired. Out comes Python, the Mega Steelix. And your Crush has evolved. Looks like you're having a Mega Pokemon standoff. Ironhead only does about 20% damage, but it does bring Python down to 44%. This might be enough for Slowbro, her brother, to go ahead and take it out, who's just switched in. Python, however, uses Roar. Interesting. And out comes her father, the Nidoking. And Python switches out for J-Crow, the Honchkrow. Earth Power doesn't do anything since it is a ground move. And out comes Darrell Deeds, standing up the Psychic Terrain again. Her father uses Ice Beam, does only about 21% damage to Durell. How comes you, Snorlax? Taking that Expanding Force pretty easily, only doing about 21% damage. I love the nicknames that everyone's using. And out comes Buzzwole, Crusher the Buzzwole, taking that Earthquake very comfortably. Out comes her brother, the Slowbro, already at full health thanks to all the Regenerator passive healing. And again, easily shrugging off that Ice Punch. Out comes Durell Deeds again, the Indeedee, and her brother does another Teleport. Very nice use of Pivot. And out comes you, the Snorlax. Wonder if we're gonna see a Belly Drum or maybe not. Buzzwole comes out, taking that Heavy Slam very comfortably, only does about 8% damage. Ari switches out to her first love, Dragonite. While Leech Life isn't very effective, it just goes to show you how much power Crusher has, bringing her first love down to about 15%. And Dragonite goes ahead and sets up Tailwind, which, while it didn't really do much right here, it could potentially help out Ari by giving people the advantage over Crusher due to speed. However, Beast Boost does go into effect. Crusher now has its attacks raised by 1 stage. And her father, the Nidoking, comes out and forces King to switch out to Glacier. Glacier takes an Ice Beam. While it's not very effective, it brings it back down to 28% health. And an Earth Power is enough to finish it off. The score is now 5-4 so far, still in King's favor. Darryl Deeds, the Indeedee, comes back out and sets up Psychic Terrain. Sludge Wave comes out. Durell only takes about 35% damage, however, it is down in the red. And Expanding Force is enough to take out Nidoking in one shot. The score is now 5-3. And now that Tailwind is gone, looks like speed is set back to normal. Her brother comes out, the Slowbro. And it takes an Energy Ball, does only about 28% health. This might be a very especially defensive boost invested Slowbro. And her brother sets up Trick Room. Interesting moveset. Another Energy Ball, this time doing 29% damage, brings her brother down to 49% health. Her brother now taking the time to teleport, probably to set up Mega Mawile. No, instead we have you, the Snorlax. Snorlax uses Earthquake, which takes down Durell. I'm not sure if it's Durell or Darryl. My apologies. And down goes Indeedee. The score is now 4-3, still in King's favor. A Trick Room is up for another 2 turns. Out comes Crusher the Buzzwole, taking a return really comfortably, only about 31% damage. It's probably going to respond maybe like a superpower. Oh no, instead it uses an Earthquake, bringing it down to 20% health. You is now in killing range. It responds with a return, bringing Crusher down to about 39% health. However, Crusher's last Earthquake is more than enough to take it down. The score is now 4-2 in King's favor, and Crusher has benefited from a Beast Boost, raising its attack. If Slowbro can set up another Trick Room, Ari might be able to take this battle under control, but we'll see. Out comes J-Crow the Honchkrow. Her brother might not want to stay in much longer. And just in time too, Trick Room is now set up. Her brother will most likely teleport. Oh, instead he goes for the Ice Beam. Oh, dealing only about 63% health. 63% damage. J-Crow goes for the Night Slash, and unfortunately it's not enough to take it out. Her brother is only hanging on by about 9%. Sorry, 15% thanks to Leftovers Recovery. Now is a perfect chance to teleport out and set out Mega Marvel, but instead, her brother goes for the Ice Beam, taking out J-Crow. The score is now 3-2. King might want to send out Roserade to potentially scare off her brother. It should be bulky enough to take maybe a Psychic if it has it. Oh, instead it goes for the Ice Beam. Does about 46% damage, however Hidden Power? Hidden Power only takes her brother down to 3%. Ari is in a really good place to go ahead and teleport if she wants to keep Trick Room up again. Instead going for the Ice Beam, which does only about 42% damage, but it gets frozen! Oh my gosh, that almost never happens. Both Pokemon healing from their leftovers in Black Sludge, respectively. If Anastasia defrosts, it's all over, but her brother takes his time to set up Trick Room once again. This is very lucky for Ari. This might actually be able to clinch the battle back to her favor. Her brother uses Ice Beam once again to set off, to finish off Anastasia, the Roserade. The score is now evenly at 2-2. And her brother, thanks to all the leftovers recoveries, back down to up to 27% health. Crusher the Buzzwole comes out at 39% health. And Ice Beam goes first, bringing Crusher down to 32%. However, Crusher does respond to the Earthquake and finally ends her brother's reign of terror. The score is now 2-1, with Crusher getting a Beast Boost. However, with Trick Room still active, that probably won't make much of a difference. Your Crush now comes out. Mega Wild does respond with a critical hit Iron Head. The critical hit probably was not necessary, bringing Crusher out of the match. The score is now an even 1-1. And out comes Python the Mega Steelix. Already though, it is at 44% health, so... But it is slower, and therefore it does a high horsepower, bringing your Crush down to 2% health. Your Crush responds with a knockoff, however, now that Trick Room is inactive, your Crush should move first. And an Iron Head unfortunately is not enough to take out Python. Python is now hanging on by 5% health, more than enough to go ahead and shoot off a Gyro Ball, finishing off your Crush and ending the match. Oh my goodness, the score is 1-0 in King's favor. King has won the battle, just barely. Oh my goodness. That was actually a very exciting match. That was a very clever use of Trick Room, a lot of really good reads on both sides. I'm very impressed seeing how this match went out. Especially with, I believe, if I remember correctly, when I was looking at the chat earlier, I believe Ari was saying that she was nervous going into this battle. Not sure if how well she would do, and here we are. Like, she nearly won. If she just had a slightly higher damage roll or got a critical hit on Python, she would have just barely won. This is a very exciting match. I'm very pleased that this was the first battle to kick off this week. Anyway, stay tuned for future battles of Week 3 of Seafoam Isles Draft League. I am your commentator, Lionhogs, and I hope to see you very soon.